So welcome for what is take two of my attempt to stream episode 3 of my Animal Farm Farming Simulator 25. And here we are on what obviously used to be known as Calmston, um, but it's now known as Oakbridge Farm. Very quickly, before I do get around to continuing to bale this particular field, I thought I'd quickly run you over to the animals just to see how the animals are getting on, because you might enjoy that. So we'll just push through this hole in the hedge, leg it over here. But you didn't know I could run so fast, did you? But here we go. Here we go. So yeah, I set up the stream. I started it. Had a little bit of an issue with the fact the steering wheel wasn't working. No idea what was wrong. Eventually, I switched the ports with it and my mouse, and both mouse and the steering wheel seem to be working now. So I don't know what the problem was. I'm just hoping I'm not getting a loose wire on the steering wheel, because that will be the end of that, and we'll be on to keyboard play if that is the case. So in here we have 25 healthy, not healthy cows. The reason they're not healthy is because we haven't got any food for them yet. We've got to go and collect that from the fields. That will be the next job after we've collected all these straw bales. So what I'm going to do with them is obviously we'll have to give them grass for now, and then eventually we'll be feeding them on silage, which we have just the other side of this building. I'll quickly run around for you. Go, 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 go. So here we have the silage, fermenting silo, whatever you want to call it. But and yeah, so this is where all the action is going to happen for food for the cows. Hopefully a little bit extra. We've got all them bales to collect in that field over there. That is one field's worth of 80. We've got a few bales in there that we'll need to collect as well. They could technically feed the cows now if I'm honest. I could quickly run one round. They're not too heavy for me to lift, so that would be okay. So I'll leg it down the road. Hope there's no car coming. No, we're okay. So into the sheep field. I better shut that gate because these sheep are going to be getting out. I think we're going to have gremlins all game, I think. There we go. Got it. Seems to be the way of things when you go live these days. So we've got different coloured sheep, obviously. We've got bar black sheep there, some white sheep, and some that are in the middle, black and white. They're easy to understand. Good. They're very straightforward. So we'll close that for a minute. Again, I think they've got no food as well. These have got a little bit of food, or I've eaten it all. They've eaten it all. Look at that. Oh no, pigs. Didn't do the pigs. It's the goats that I fed. I'll get it all confused. So in here we have 120 goats of various ages. This is the first month in the game, so obviously nothing has really changed yet. They're all going to be on 0 health, whether you feed them or not. So these baby pigs, I can't remember how many there were. 50. So 50 baby pigs who we're going to grow, try and get them to worth about £1,000. Then they'll return 50k and quite a tidy profit. Over here we have chickens, but they are literally day old chicks, so they're not going to be laying us any eggs for a while. They're going to be costing us money. And again, more cows. These are beef stock. They're going to be out in the field all day, nowhere to shelter. But I'm sure they're very happy as long as they don't escape, because I haven't got a gate down here. But they hope. We'll have to hope that they do as they're told. So We got a special Jeremy Clarkson style collar that gives them an electric shock when they go too far and makes them come back the other way. That's my theory anyway. So yeah, what we'll do is I don't know why I'm running when we could just teleport. Uh, we'll continue where we left off on the last episode. We'll quickly finish baling this field and then we'll go get a bale trailer. Just hoping we've got enough money for the bale trailer and for feeding the animals, because if we can't feed the animals, that's going to cause us a little bit of a problem, I think. So off we go. We'll come into cab for a bit, then we'll move out of cab for a bit, just to give us a little bit of variation. We're going to concentrate to the left of us for these few rows and finish up on the longest row again, just to then take on the bulk of the field. We've already done the headlands, so they're all up to date, but yeah, it's just a case of I'm going to try and get it on cruise control, so that will go at its own speed. And as we come to the end of this, we'll just bring ourselves out here, hopefully not make ourselves too dizzy with the angles of the tractor. Round we go. So we want to do these two lines before we do the longer line. So I hope you're all enjoying the farming simulator at the moment, and I have heard a lot of people sort of getting a little bit burnt out with it. I'm completely the opposite at the moment, playing more and more, hence the reason I started doing a couple of streams, which I don't normally do. But yeah, this is certainly proving an exciting challenge, this particular one, because I've never done a almost solely based animal farm. We are going to do some arable crops, but this is not. This field basically is going to be that at the moment. But generally, our main target is to be profitable with the animals. So this is just a little bit of a bonus. And I mean, because we're thinking of doing wheat or barley, this could end up being actually the free food for the chickens, maybe. I could be torturous and do myself some potatoes or something, but I really don't fancy that. Certainly not in a field this size. And we haven't got the money for the equipment anyway. So at the moment we've got a combine harvester, we've got the baler for the straw. Although this baler is gonna cost us a fortune, because look at the work hours on it, 220 odd work hours. Overcooked that, missed a little bit there, but never mind. It's only a bit of straw. We'll pick it up on the way back down. Yeah, we've got a baler that has seen better days and is going to need repairing, but we haven't got the money to repair it. Or we're going to have to trade it in and get a new one, but again, we haven't got the money for that at the moment. Could potentially take a little bit of a loan, but at the moment that's not in my plans. We will have to look into it as the game progresses, but hopefully within the next 3 to 6 months we'll start seeing major profit within the farm. But initially it's going to be all about just trying to break even for the first couple of months. So we'll take this all the way out to the max and spin it back round, line up with that line, and there we go, perfectly done. Beautiful views, beautiful views. You can just see in the very distance by them trees the biogas plant. Took me a while to find it when I was looking around the map. I couldn't remember it from FS22 where it was. But when I found it, it's alright, it's in a reachable place, but we have to go round to the road system because of the river directly behind our dairy farm. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain to get to, but the biogas could be quite important to us, particularly with us doing silage as one of our productions. We've just got to be very careful and work out roughly how much silage, how much grass we're going to be using over the course of the winter, because this is probably the last cut. We may get one in November. It just depends on how it progresses. I think in the game, as a rule, you do normally get a November cut. If we do get a November cut, then everything's going to be hunky-dory. But if we don't, then it's going to be a little bit of a guesswork on to whether we'll make it or not, because we've got a lot of sheep and a lot of goats, and they are going to consume a fair amount of grass, I would imagine. So we'll have to see how it goes. Like I say, I've not particularly planned it out yet. We've also got to get this straw in quick, because we've got rain coming as well. We don't want the straw to get wet. It's going to be really handy for using in the cow shed, I think, because I think the cow shed takes straw in helping to get the cows happy to produce milk. And milk is going to be quite important, especially early on. I don't know how much they're going to be producing because of the age of them. They've obviously just been bought at the oldest we can buy them, but are they ready to go with the milk? That's a question I don't have an answer to. But certainly I'd imagine that once they do start milking, 25 of them are going to give us plenty of money coming in, and hopefully enough money to take control of the loans that we have already. We're probably nearly maxed out on the loans. I think we've got over 500,000 that we owe. Most of that was used for buying the extra fields where the sheep and the goats and the grass is growing. All that did not belong to us initially. We had to purchase it. So that was the main reason for the loans. And we needed one decent, powerful tractor. We were not going to be able to pull all this machinery and that with the tractors that we had. We've got Massey Ferguson, which has over 500 work hours in it, which is no good. A little John Deere and this. That's the tractors that we have. This, of course, being a case. I'd like to tell you which, but I can't remember. And without stopping it, the information's not on there, is it? Nope. So it's a pretty chilled start to the second attempt to the stream. It was frantic when I couldn't get the steering wheel working. It was strange though, the other side of it was working, the stick was working, but not the steering wheel. When you're trying to start a live stream and all of a sudden everything's gone wrong. But I'm sure those who are experienced at making this kind of content will be well used to all these kind of things going wrong. Me, I wasn't organised at all. I started the stream and then realised I hadn't clicked onto the actual game, so I was having to quickly load the game up. And while I was waiting for that, it finally came on. I was able to start the stream, and lo and behold, the steering wheel wasn't working. Now I don't think we're going to need all of this straw. I think that is the only the cow house is going to be the one that needs straw, and I don't think it's going to take very much to keep it stocked. So we'll probably keep about 5 or 6 bales plus whatever is used to fill it, and then the rest we'll sell. Whether we sell it now or in the later months will depend on where we're looking in terms of our finances. So if we sleep into September and find ourselves on minus when we come back, then I think we'll have to sell the straw in September. But otherwise, we'll try and hold it on. I think the better time is normally around about December, January, but don't quote me on it. You would imagine that would be fair enough, maybe even as far into the year as March, April, because obviously it's dependent on availability, and the further away you get from the harvest times, the more value is going to be in the product. The main question for us is, where are we going to store it? Because I think if we store it under that bale shed in the corner there, I don't think it's going to be very weather protected. Well, that's something to think about. We've got time to think about it. Would be interesting if you could see where the weather was going to come from. Don't think I've ever noticed on Farm Sim yet weather coming in. So, obviously, many a time I've been out in the countryside, on the side of a mountain or at the beach, and you're able to see the rain coming towards you. But I've never noticed that as a thing in Farm Sim. So maybe that's something that could be looked at, or maybe it's something that is a thing and I've just never spotted it. So we must be nearly halfway through this field now. Feels like we're getting through it reasonably quick. Wouldn't say it's the most exciting job in Farming Simulator, but baling, to me, it brings a bit of satisfaction as a rule because of the infinite possibilities with grass work in particular, but even with the straw. So you can use it to make money, you can use it to make certain foods, so total mixed rations, for example. You can use it to make silage, which makes you a lot of money. There's just so much that you can do with it, and it obviously it also helps in certain houses as well, husbandries. I keep putting it on the GPS and then forgetting and starting to turn my steering wheel when we come to the elbow on the line. Just need to remember that the tractor's doing the work for me. It's just at this point now where it comes to an end, where you have to give it full beans round, line yourself back up with the swath, and away you go again. And again, the GPS does all the work for you. Wonder what them buildings are over there. I haven't really explored the map too much. I've been to the shop and to the biogas plant in my little drive around. Obviously, there's plenty of other buildings which we need to explore over the course of the series. I mean, these first few episodes have just been effectively the setup of the farm, which takes a bit of time. When you first come into the game, you've got jobs that already need doing. The harvest was obviously ready for this. The grass was ready to cut. We needed as many bales as possible for the animals. We purchased all these fields to keep the animals in, and we had to get them ready for the animals, and then purchase the animals and take delivery of them, obviously. we haven't got a means to do them ourselves, so we are completely dependent on somebody dropping the animals off for us. But obviously that's part of the growth of the farm, is you get the equipment that you need to make the farm function eventually all on your own strength rather than depending on deliveries and collections and etc etc. So I'm keeping an eye on the fuel. The fuel is already down to half. Something else we haven't bought. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these kind of things, because, you know, money is going to be really tight. I'd be interested to know how much we can actually borrow. I thought it was going to stop at 500,000, but maybe it's because I bought the extra fields that it increases. That's highly possible. But I can't imagine that we're entitled to much more. Just realised we're not on GPS. Got to be over halfway now, surely. As we're getting towards the end of this row. Give it a nice swing around, and I'm hoping you can't pick the noises up of my my dog in the background. Decided to pick the noisiest toy possible to play with while I'm streaming. If it sounds like it's killing the cat, it isn't, I promise you. It's just a toy bone that it's playing with. And on the hard floor it makes the right noise. But hopefully the noise suppression that I have on this will keep that from invading your ears. That is the hope, that is the plan. I hope we can afford a decent bale trailer for doing this baling. We've got 80 bales to collect, or just less than now, not including the straw actually. So with the straw it's probably going to be over 100 bales to collect, and all that we've got to do as quickly as possible before the rain comes. It'll be interesting to know if you're watching, what games are you playing at the moment? What is it? Farming Simulator? And what particular map? What is your favourite map? Feel free to join the chat and have a bit of discourse. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Can't see because of the tree. Just about right. Only just. We were at a funny angle when we finally came back into sight. There's a little bit of an issue with the external views of this particular game, but you can also at the same time get some fantastic shots. Look at that, we've got a hot air balloon above us as we work away. You see the combine harvester in the distance there, ready to be packed away in the shed. That's going to be one of the jobs that we've got to do actually, is after what has been a manic month, we're going to have to give the farm a real tidy up and decide exactly where we're going to store everything. Once this month's over, it should the workload should die down completely until November if we have gotta do the grass again. That will make November reasonably busy. But having said that, you know, we're gonna have to plough this field. Then we're gonna have to, which we'll do next month. Then we're gonna have to seed this field with wheat. So again, we'll do that next month. So it's all going to be concentrating on this field alone. And then if we've got the money, we're going to need to fertilise at least once, if not twice, so that we get the best possible amount. That was the thing I needed to check, was whether we had a roller, because when we seed this field, we want as big a yield as possible, and if we don't roll the seed in, that's going to affect the yield by a few percent. Not massively, but enough to see us out of a few pennies. But the question is, will it be more than not rolling it to either lease or buy a roller if we haven't got one hidden away somewhere? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves, really. I mean, could you imagine buying one of the really cheap rollers and doing a field this size? It would take forever. I think it'd kill my little Massey Ferguson with its 200 and odd work hours. Sorry, 500 and odd work hours. It's the baler that's 200 and odd work hours, isn't it? Well, at least I hope it is, and not this tractor. Did I buy a second-hand tractor? I can't remember, you know. I thought I bought a new one, but I might be wrong. I might have bought a second-hand one with hundreds of hours on it. Oh, I don't know. But we can't afford to fix it yet. So, if it is the tractor, we're going to be struggling. I was looking fairly tidy anyway. Got hundreds of buttons and screens, and I haven't got a clue what any of it does. We'll make a turn inside the cab just so that you can get a feel for what it's like. It's technically easier than being stuck in the trees. Yeah, so I haven't got a clue what half of these buttons do. That's the pickup. See us running nicely along. All very interesting. All very interesting. This case. Just trying to look on the dials to see whether it had the work hours on the dials, but it's bouncing around too much and my eyes are not good enough to pick out what it says. Ooh, I went for the wrong line then because I didn't turn. I just kept looking straight ahead. Not the best way to take a turning like that, but we did it. Oh, we're going to beat this rain. I mean, technically, I could have a quick look as we wait for it to save. I think it's on the calendar page, isn't it? So it does give out rain, but it's not till about 6 o'clock at night, actually. So as long as it's correct, we shouldn't have too much trouble. It's only 1 o'clock in the game. Now we've got a bale to dodge as well here, so this is going to take a little bit more control, especially as I'm going to go around that and bring it back here, then bring it back this way, and there we go. I think we got away with that. Yep, we got it all. Probably would have been a good time to switch to out of cab again. The old drone view. The hot air balloon in the distance. Some of these little touches in Farming Sim I love. I love it when the plane goes past or the train on certain maps. You get the train going past and it just makes it feel great. So another thing I'd be interested to know if you're watching this after the day. Have any of you ever done an animal farm? Or am I the only one stupid enough to give this a go? But this straw is going to be important for making sure that we keep it realistic in terms of having straw on the farm for animals. I mean, we could possibly go with a bale grab as opposed to a trailer, but it'd mean we'd have to store the bales in different places. We do have different places to store the bales in the different fields, but it would be quite a bit of work, but nowhere near as expensive. It'd certainly only be sort of like a solution for 1 or 2 cuts. Then we'd have to get a bale trailer. We can't keep doing that all the time. But obviously it'd take a long time to clear the bales off this field, but we'd be able to stack them pretty well with the bale grab. It stacks 4 in a row, fairly easy to control. Something that I might think about just for the sake of this first one. It will extend the time of collection, there is that, but we get to do the job right and of our own accord as well. If the bales will stay where you stack them, because they do have a little bit of a habit of jiggling around like they're alive and ruining your piles when you start stacking them. A little bit of a bug in the game. There's not many bugs in 25. I really struggled with 22. Had a lot of issues with mod conflicts and things going wrong in saves. It almost put me off. Well, it did for quite some time, put me off making content because you got so far into a save and then something ruined it. So what I've been working on for the last few months with Farm Sim is making sure that every mod that I've got is working well and not adding any more than what we've got, because what we've got is a good balance of choices to do with most jobs. And then if we come across one specific mod that we feel like we need, so for example, if I wanted to put courseplay into this game, then I would consider getting it. But if something goes wrong and you've only added one mod, you generally know where the problem is. The only time it's an issue is when you get updates. I've literally just updated one of the mods that's on here now. I can't remember which one it was. Something to do with husbandries and maybe fences or something, I don't know. But like I say, if you start getting a conflict from then, you know that it's probably the ones that have updated or the ones that have just been added to the game. But when you start adding willy-nilly halfway through a save and then you find all of a sudden you've added 100 and one out of that 100 is conflicting with another mod. And it's an absolute nightmare to try and work it all out. And I'm not at all, in any way, shape or form, a very technically minded person. So to have these kind of issues is always a little bit daunting to me because I've no idea how to sort them out. I'm here to drive a tractor, for goodness sake. Straighten up. I don't know how I used to get along without a steering wheel. I think if this did actually pack up and stop working completely, I think I'd be quite disappointed because the steering wheel is really important to the way that I play. I'm a driver by trade, so everything that I've ever done has been based, centered around driving, and so to sit and play this game without a steering wheel would be a little bit weird now. Even though for years I did play Farm Sim without. It was just a case of, you know, they're quite expensive. Couldn't really justify paying the price that I had. I did come across eventually a reasonable deal which brought me the cockpit, the steering wheel, pedal, and the stick, but they're just the cheap Logitech ones. But I got the whole lot for about £100, and that wasn't too bad. I could just about justify paying that, but there were others. In fact, I was asking the community on Facebook, and they were like, "You won't even get the steering wheel for the price you're asking. You want 3, 4, 5, maybe 600 just for the steering wheel." So it was quite satisfying to be able to say, well, for what I wanted, I've got what I wanted for £100, and it was below the budget that I was looking at, and it was quite satisfying for those doubters who said there's no way you're going to get what you want for the price you're asking. And now I've had it maybe 2 years, and I'm more than happy with it, and I think it'd be hard to go back to the keyboard having now used the steering wheel for that long. Slowly but surely, on a very tight budget, I have been working to improve my equipment, and so things like my microphone, and I have a sound card which is good, but it won't work as we are at the moment because I've got noise suppression on. It affects the sound effects. So if I were to press a sound effect, for example, this would be a cheer, and it sounds rubbish, and I do recognise that it sounds rubbish, but it's because of the noise suppression filter on the microphone, which is necessary, particularly with having a dog running around on hard wooden floor. So this is a chair, but like I say, it doesn't work very well. But like I say, it's not great. It sounds much better when you haven't got the noise suppression on, but never mind. Yeah, there was nothing there, was there? It's like you can do an applause as well. So here we are at the end of the row. We've got a half bale as well. Now I won't do my usual and dump them out straight away. I'll drive them closer to a load of others so that together they are in a more useful place. and there's less to collect far away. So, oh, I can switch that up and we'll go a bit faster, can't we? So. I could really do with some fuel, but I just literally do not know how much money we can afford to spend. So, we'll drop these here. So that's 2 out. And I think it's that button releases the half bale as well. Magically, the half bale looks just like the others. So we'll part the baler out of the way so that it's ready for when we do the tidy up. That's the Massey. If you haven't seen it, let's just oh, I'm confused. Where am I? So there's the Massey. Let's see. You know, looking at 500 and odd work hours. So yeah, I think this John Deere has got 482, and it is the tractor that's 200 work hours. I have got some mega old equipment. So perhaps this was actually a tractor that we had then. I thought it was, but no, perhaps it wasn't. It's difficult because I did a tester. I forgot what equipment I bought and what equipment I didn't. So why on earth if we spent $500,000 and not bought a tractor? That is unbelievable. So we may have to sort of like economize and try and sell a couple of these tractors, but I don't think we'd get much money for them. That's the thing, and that is something that we're going to have to work through when we sort it out. Is what equipment we can sell, what equipment we don't need, things like that. So, for example, I'm not one for cultivating as a rule. I tend to like to buy a lizard plough and just plough whenever we get the chance because the lizard plough, you know, it sorts the field out. So maybe that's something we can do to raise a little bit more money is sell things like the cultivator, a couple of the tractors, and buy one decent tractor if we can raise enough money. That is the challenge, isn't it? Because when you think about it, we've got a combined total of about 1,000 hours on all these tractors. So anyway, let's go internet shopping. So what we're going to be looking for now is we need to go down to the grasswork. Yeah, I thought that was it, but that harvesters, balers, that's where we want to be. So we've got a choice of what do we want? We don't need any of that. Grassland care, don't need any of that. So what are we looking for? Is it in the trailers? Oh, I've just seen it in the flat. I think there was a flatbed bit. Just a bit further up, flatbed trailers. So we could get that one for now. That wouldn't really help, I don't think. So the other option is it'd be on a front loader. I think it would be, wouldn't it? So just out of interest, we've got a class baler there, which has how many work hours on it? Does it tell you here? 33.4 work hours. That's the same as ours. So what does ours say? 33 is what it said. So if we go to the work hours, it's that is that 1 hour? No. No, that one. So where are we? What's the work hours on this one? Oh right, so that's fairly new. That's okay then. I'm not too worried about that. We'd keep that one. Although we could sell it, buy the older one, which is not massively old, and gain ourselves about 50k. That is a possibility. Do you know what? That may even be a definite. What I want to quickly do is just go through everything very slowly and see if we have hidden on this farm a roller. Doesn't look like it, does it? No, is the answer. We do have a fertilizer spreader, which is quite handy. So yeah, let's go back to the shop, and we know that we can buy that baler and sell our other if we need to. So that takes away the restriction for me for the flatbed. So I'm going to buy the flatbed now. Up there. So if we were to get, so we want the auto load. Now, if I remember correctly, you can increase like the height of it, so it'll take more. Aha, yes. We want it to go nice and tall. And do we want it to come out a touch? Don't think that'll make too much difference to it, but hopefully it won't overbalance too stupidly. Yes, we want auto load. Oh, let's just reset it. Up, up and away. That across. That across. That out. And so what we've basically done, hopefully, is make that. So can we afford the extension? Oh, but it's affected that. Ah. So we'll try again. We've just made the auto load area as wide as possible without enabling the stuff to fall out. And if we can go higher, that might get at least one extra row of bales on it. So yes, that will do. That is ours. We'll go and collect that now, and that will be the next job. But just before we do that, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute comfort break. So I will be right back. here we are back again. All watered and ready to go. So we need to get into the tractor. We have disconnected, double checked. So it's time for a nice little drive. We'll even do it in cab. How about that? I think, if I remember correctly, cars only tend... Well, that's no good, isn't it? I need realistic cab view, really, to be able to see. So I guess nothing's coming. We'll be able to see when the mirrors are straight. Yeah, we're completely clear behind. Now, I did drive down this road recently, and I noticed that when you come to the brow of the hill, if there's a car coming from this direction, they literally go airborne. So goodness knows what speed they're doing down these. I mean, I can floor it now, 30 odd miles an hour, and nothing happens. But I literally was coming up and saw a car come over that hill. I think it was that one. It's either that one or the next one. And it was airborne. It was in the air. Maybe in this one, this looks a bit more like a ramp, doesn't it? Yeah, so that tells you that they must have no limit on the speed that the AI cars travel at. It was pretty spectacular, to be honest. At some point, I feel like I should do a test and just pull up at the side of the road and watch for a car to come. So there's our beautiful new trailer. I think we're going to have to do that with the baler. Sell it and buy the older one. Give us just that, I mean, that 50 grand difference will make a massive difference, and I don't think the baler itself will make a massive difference because it's exactly the same baler with just 30 hours more work in it. 30 hours is nothing when you're talking about tractors that are pulling it, having... Just let me concentrate. These dolly things are horrendous to reverse, aren't they? But that wasn't too bad. We managed to get back so that we can exit, which is what we wanted. I may have to put... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. We may have to put this on so I can remind myself of the auto collect buttons, the auto load buttons. So I think it is that one. Oh, no. I pressed the wrong button and exited a moving tractor. That was not meant to happen. The left and free? Yes. So that's what we wanted, was move it into operating position. Oh, yeah. Slow down, and stop, because otherwise we're going to crash. You crazy man. So this is where we saw it. We just missed a car now, so there's probably not going to be another one coming for a while. But I think if we sat here for long enough, you'd see a car come over there absolutely flying. So let's just give it 30 seconds or so. In fact, what I might do is walk up to the top, see if we could see. I'm trying to do this one-handed while I take a quick drink. See if we can see a car coming. And if we can quickly, hopefully, if we... Oh, that one didn't do it. Well, that's disappointing. So we beat that car anyway. Don't stop there, you clown. What are you doing? leaving me to do all the work. Well, that was an anticlimax. I thought we were going to see an airborne racing car then. It must have just been a one-off. It was funny when I saw it though. So I think what we'll do, we'll go and do the difficult one first, over by the sheep, and give them everything that we collect is going to go between the sheep and the goats, and we'll keep them fed for a while. You can guarantee while we're trying to enter this field, a car will come. Need to really be able to see what's happening. I'll take out that house. I think I've overshot that now, so we'll go back a touch. Bring it round. There we go. We're in. We're in. Straighten up. Oh, oh, oh. Do I need to turn it left hand down to get past that post? Yep, we've done it. Stop the sheep escaping. A little bit of realism there. We could really leave it open. That sheep just ran through the tractor like the tractor wasn't there. That was funny. One, two, three, four. So these have got to last us to November, really. And hopefully we'll get a second cut in. Obviously we won't be cutting this field now because it's for the sheep. But we do have the field next door. If I just point us in the right direction, that field there will be all grass. And hopefully in November, if things go to plan, we'll be able to cut that field as well as the other big field that we've got. And that will be, I reckon, best part of 60, 70, maybe even 80 with the small field bales, which will easily make it so that we can last until the spring. I don't think there'll be any issues then. So we're doing nicely here. We may or may not have just run a sheep over. Nobody's looking. It's okay. Right, so not sure how many bales we've got here. But, 4, 8, 12, 15, so it's 15 bales between them. One of them might not be a full bale, I don't know. So, but which way is this going to come off now? So, unload bales is 4. Well, that didn't work. So, unload bales here. So, like that. 3. Oh, I pressed all the wrong buttons. Right, 4. Why is it not working? So it says unload bales here, but it doesn't unload. So what happens if I press that button? Not sure what I just did then, but we'll get out and we'll manhandle these because I don't know what I'm doing, basically. Well, let's move the tractor along a touch. It loaded a ball. I didn't want it to do that. Are they pinned to it? Yes, they are. So this is not how I envisage this happening at all. I don't know how or why it's not unloading. So that's them off again. It's actually kept 5 on, which is useful, to be honest, because they can go to the goats along with however many we don't want of these. Look at them all, they're all hungry, so that will cheer them up. No end. I mean, we'll have to see how many of these it takes to keep them fed per month, and it will increase as well because the youngsters will get older. Obviously, there'll be offspring born, so that's all going to change the way this develops and how much we're going to need per month. I'm getting more and more confident that by November we'll be able to do a second cut, and if we are, then we'll be all right. So there we go. That is 5 spare and a full trough. In fact, they've already got a few in their trough, so we'll put a couple more here. 7 spare. That should keep them going for months. We shouldn't have to feed these too often because obviously leaving a pile here, every time it tries to empty, it'll take a bit more from the bales. And these will take just don't believe what I just pressed. I've loaded them up again. And so we'll have to unload them again. Oh, what a muppet. Little bit of shuffling this one around so that I can get it facing in the same direction as the other. You look happy with that food, mate. Glad I could be of service to you. All the others have given up on it, but you are more than happy. Imagine when we've got 150 sheep in here that are all giving us wool. And when they get to the age of about 36 months, they'll be sold 50 at a time. I don't think sheep go to a massive value, to be fair. I think pigs and cows are the ones that increase in value the most. Obviously, from a food point of view, they're pretty lucrative. So we need to try and get ourselves clear now of those ones before we load this up. Right, so there. Oh, it picked them up. I'm not doing it again. I'm going to fill the upper one up, put them there, and then the rest are just going to get dumped when we get back. So, there we go. To be fair, I've got to take a couple actually that I've forgotten about to the cows, so I'm not going to try and make the right angle turn through that narrow gate. We'll make ourselves dizzy. Do a loop around, approach them straight on. Don't escape for the next 5 minutes, please, sheepies, because I am not shutting that gate for no one. To be fair, these goats haven't escaped. They've been in there for ages. I forgot about them. What am I doing? Why am I getting out? I don't know what I'm doing. So it's a left evacuation. So we just loop around, line up with the food truck out there, roughly. Transport position, no, that's not what we wanted. We don't want. So that will do. Don't quite know how we managed to get it to do that. We'll try not to run this goat over, but he looks pretty determined to get run over. And in we go. A little bit of a right angle, which is never good with a big long trailer like this in a narrow gate, but we're okay. I want to give it a little bit more distance this time because the goat one wasn't quite so expertly done as I would have liked. Shut them off there, and let's get this thing way out of the way before we knock the wrong button again, and for about the 20th time load them up. Then we're going to run a couple of these bales to the cows over there just to keep them happy over the course of the next week or so in game, obviously. Oh, what happened then? I tripped over. Wasn't the time my shoelaces. So in we go with that. They have actually got a little bit that I've already put in there. I forgot I'd done that, to be honest. But I don't know how much they'll eat, so we'll get one more. Can't go too mad because we can't. Cannot afford to. I think I'm going to need a little trailer as well. So we're definitely going to have to sell that baler and get the other one. So I think that will do for the 18 cows. I don't think they'll eat much of that. So yes, we do need a trailer because I can't feed the chickens and the pigs. So we're going to have to sell our baler, which, where is it? It's class. I can't see it. Oh, it's that one, isn't it? Yeah. But priority. Just double check. Still available. Because that would have been a disaster, wouldn't it? So, back to vehicles. And of course it wants to save now. Sell. Yes. Okay. Now get back to the sales page. We definitely need to buy that quickly, as we'll be stuck without a baler, and that will be a disaster. I think that's a life-saving move, to be honest. I've got to say. So trailers, it needs to be a little one, but it's going to cost us about 9,000, I think it is. So we get the extension, change the colour because the colour's rubbish. Oh, that was the chassis. It's the main colour we wanted. Why is it not changing? What is wrong with you? Red. Select. Ah, right, okay. I was pressing the wrong bit at the end. That's why. I think that looks cool, but I think the chassis should be yellow. No. Black. That's better. I like that. I think that's better. So rim colour. White. Looks terrible white, but I'm going to leave it at that. So we are... Oh, we actually get charged more for the rim colour, so that's not going to happen. I'm not paying more. So 9,000 for that. We will buy. And now we can actually feed the pigs and the chickens. So back to the old trailer. Before we feed the pigs and the chickens, we'll complete the collection of the bales. Get some of them working in the silage fermenter so that we can feed the cows on a more permanent basis. We also need to put some grass in with the cows so that they are getting a little bit of sustenance. It's not going to be good enough for them. Right, stop there. All the other gates have left open, but I'll at least shut this one so the sheep don't come out onto the road. Oh, it's close. But we've got that, we've done that nicely. So we need to get this back into transport position. And on with the loading now. So I think that them four there will be enough to sort out the cows in here. So what we'll do is we'll unload them here and feed them, and then we've got to try and get back in there to get the other three. So what do we do? Stop unloading. Press that. No. That first, and then that. Right. So. Oh, it picked it up from there, so I didn't need to jump out of the tractor anyway. That's handy to know. We can dump more there at a later date if necessary. How are we going to get back round to these? Oh, be a tight circle. That's the advantage of having a dolly. You don't get many advantages of having a dolly, but that is one of them. Transport position. At least we haven't got to worry about it picking up them bales again, because we've got to drive past here again. So that's something to be thankful for. Oh, we got a dog. We must have. So let's get into this field, collect as many of these bales as will be allowed in one go. Be interested to see how many bales it can actually carry. And then after we've collected these, we have the straw to collect. And when we've done that, I think that will probably job done for episode 3. We'll have made good progress. Episode 4, we'll feed the chickens, feed the pigs, and then we'll get ourselves to the next month. Oh, we need to tidy the farm up as well, so that'll be one of the first jobs in episode 4, which may or may not be today. Depends on how I feel. So we get 3 rows on 1 trolley. Now this whole lot I'm going to put into the silage machine, and maybe another lot if we get a full. So what's that? 4, 8, 12, 16. No, I'm counting it wrong. 6, 12, 18, 24 bales, is it? 24 bales? Oh, just realised I've come in the wrong way. We're going to end up lugging bales around if I don't get it right. So we need to do a big circle. Hope this doesn't make us feel too dizzy. Ooh, oh, I didn't have my eyes closed. Honest. I really didn't. I do get a little bit of an effect from especially when you do a full turn like this, the motion of it. It doesn't seem to matter how often I play the game, how much I adjust things, speeds and stuff like that. It just seems to do it all the time. So doesn't work with that. Doesn't work with that. So we've got to do that. Doesn't upload there. Doesn't upload there. So we have to do that. It's a real pain, this, because for some reason I think I'm gonna have to go with the keyboard for actually sorting out the offloading of them. So I've just got one rogue that's snuck behind the trailer. So we need to turn this on. Otherwise, we'll be hoping that it does. So it's got 147,000 litres. We need to enable the water. And activate. So that will now start building up silage for us. So we'll swing it round and onward, onward, ever onward. There's got to be at least another full trailer. So we could put a full trailer in there, and whatever's left. Oh, I didn't put it into transporting. operating is really what it's in. It just says transporting on F1 because that's the opposite to where it is. So I always say them the wrong way round because of the instructions on the menu in the top left. And I know it's wrong, I just do it every time. It's a common thing that I just happen to do. So just trying to work out how many bales are going to be left when we've done this full. So we'll collect this corner. One short. It's got to be that one. That's the one that's the furthest away from everybody else. Yep, so there is actually quite a few left over. So what we'll do with them is we'll collect them up, store them somewhere out of the way, collect the straw ones up, and that will be that for episode 3. Let's see if I can work out how to unload these using the keyboard rather than the steering wheel. So, roughly right. So it's saying we can load now. It doesn't work with that. Doesn't work with that. Oh, I don't know. What can we do? I managed to put the acid on. I don't even know how I did that. How do I switch them off again? So, no is the answer. This could be a bit of an issue with this. It's supposed to be one of these, but I just can't figure out which one it is. No, not having it. So that changes you completely out of your cab. Oh, that's the wrong one. What's that now? So that's that. Load them back up. Kick them out. Load them back up. Go back a touch. And kick them out. And we'll come and manually move the last couple. It's doing me head in now. So the next question is, where are we going to put these bales? Technically we could afford a bale store, but I'm not too keen on doing that yet. Oh, wrong button. No, that's alright. I probably turned just a little bit early then. We could have collected another bale, but never mind. We'll get them done. Another hot air balloon in the air there. It looks like the same one, but it can't be because it's completely the wrong direction. We've comfortably beat the rain. That was an important part of what we were doing. I'm thinking I might buy a bale store, see if I can fit it in that field which gave us 6 or 7. It may even go where that trailer is over there. We'll have to move the trailer if we were to put it there. But that's the last resort because we don't want to make it too narrow where the fermenting silo is. So before we go and lock everything off, let's go into construction. I'm thinking here if we can fit it in. 15,000. It's not letting us do it because it says it overlaps with something. Is it just the way it's facing that was the issue? Come on. You know you want to. Why does it say it overlaps with something all the time? When it blatantly doesn't. Is there somewhere here? Ooh. Now it does go there, but it's not very level. I would have to do a bit of leveling off for that to work. So let's see what happens if we drop that now. As you can see, it's made quite a nasty lump there, which is not good. So let's see if it will smooth out. I prefer to work in squares. And we can go a little bit bigger, try and smooth it. So let's just go and quickly investigate how that has worked. Where we're going, I'm in the wrong direction, Mum. Going the wrong way. It's passable, I suppose. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. I think that'll have to do. To be honest, it can be temporary. We can sell it and move it somewhere else in the future. There is a good spot near the sheep actually, but that was just a bit too far for what we're doing at the moment. But we can keep the straw in there as well. That will keep that nice and dry as well. So probably not the worst investment in the world. There we go. So we're in the right vehicle for where we want to be going now. See the hot air balloon and what progress he's making. I think he's coming this way, you know. Slowly but surely. We could cheat and just cut through the hedge because there's no collisions, but we're not going to. We're playing this as real as we can without being silly. So we can straighten up, make sure there's no cars coming. We do have a little pull in near this driveway if we ever meet a car, but if it requires us reversing with a dolly on this trailer, you've got no chance. Right, so when you get to this point now, you have to gun it. Because if you don't, you get caught by a car and they do not move for anybody. So we follow this round here and the tractor was very close to being in the way, wasn't it? So let's just do this so we can see that we're lined up with it. And I mean, this could be our first sign of an issue with a bug. If it's not working. One thing I like about this is it's stacked them up nicely in the back. Actually looks like you've done a good job. Which, if I stacked them up myself, it would never look like that. Operating position, transport position. Little drama with my dog. Seemed to think somebody got way too close to the house, so it had to tell them not to. So we need to get all the ones further away first, just in case we overfill. Which I think we will. We don't. I think there's more than 24 bales on this field. Nope. So actually got really good number of bales out of this straw. This is going to be enough to last us for years because they don't use many, the cows. Here we go, here we go. 2 more to go. I'll tell you what, if we'd have done this as a grass field as well, we'd have never been short of grass. But there's only so much baling you can do. So to get a crop in one field at least is going to be something. Trying to line it up a little bit better this time. Got to get it to the right point for that to work. And if you're looking at this, they've fallen behind, so I can't just load them back up and stick them in. There's always one. We need to turn this into a roundabout or something. Transport position, again, go for the furthest ones because I don't think we'll use a full one this time, but I do want to make sure that if we've got to come back again, it's only for the very nearest bale. I think we're going to get this full load and get them into the right place. We actually maybe want to keep a couple to take to the cows because it seems a bit daft loading them into the shed and then getting them straight back out the shed again. So, them closest ones, I'll probably drive straight past them, ignore them, and take them to the cow shed as a final job. They say a final job. I mean, of this particular stream, there's a never-ending supply of work to do on the farm. So that's the fun of the game, is that every time you think you're coming to the end of one venture, there's another one to round the corner for you to manage. Stop loading. Press that. I'll do that, and in they go. That worked out a little bit better, maybe because it wasn't a full load. And we'll get this transported. So I must remember when we come back for episode 4 not to buy a trailer, because we've already bought it. I shall drop these here, mainly because I don't actually know where they're going. So I don't know where they go on the in the cow thing. I just saw that it needed straw. So do we put it with the food or in? It's not taking anything there. Ah, there. That's it. And another one. And once we've done that, I think these should at least be happy for a bit. It needs more. We're not going to put more in now. But I think that will keep them happy for some time at least. There's 16,000 litres in there. 30,000 is what it holds. So another 2 bales would do the job there. In terms of food-wise, they've got nearly a maximum amount. But it's not really the healthiest food in terms of production, but it is what it is at the moment. So yeah, that's been fairly good progress for episode 3. We've managed to get all the baling done, straw bales and grass bales. We've built a shed for the bales to be kept in. We've fed most of the animals now. We've bought a trailer to go and feed the pigs and the chickens. That will be done before we sleep. We need to tidy up the farm, obviously feed the chickens and pigs, and collect the baler from the shop, which we've just traded in and bought a older version, just so that we could have that little extra money, which we've already eaten into. We've got 32 grand left. But yeah, so I think it's been a productive session. I think that we will definitely be moving into September as soon as we've tidied up the farm, sorted through the equipment, and maybe even sold a little bit. Certainly want to look at getting rid of the plough that we've got and getting a lizard subsoiler, because they are much better. It's a nice straight edge blade, and it does the job for me much quicker. So I'd be much happier having one of them than what we've currently got. We also probably need a roller as well. That's another thing. But if we can get a nice cheap one of them, that would be good. But all that's for episode 4. I'm Stevie C. I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment if you're willing to do so. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon. Bye.